in the gospel narratives that set forth the life of Jesus, one of the impressive things is the fact that many ill people who came to him were not cured. Some were cured, some were not. Some came extremely ill and yet not even knowing that they were ill. And these were the ones he could not heal, the ones who refused to admit that they were ill. You see, he could not cure Pilate of his skepticism. And certainly a mental disease will distort life as truly as a virus or a germ can distort a body. He could not cure the crowds of their blindness to what he was trying to do, of their deafness to what he was trying to say. He could not save Judas from the bitter despair that swept over him when Jesus did not prove to be the kind of Messiah he wanted. He could not cure the religious leaders of their self-righteousness, of their blind adherence to ritual, form, tradition. He could not cure them of their unwillingness to have their eyes open to the new things God was trying to bring to pass round about them. But Jesus could and did and will continue to cure people who come to him in search of a relationship with God that will bring the full capacities, that will bring to the full the capacities they have. He did cure Mary Magdalene of her life of sin and set her on the road toward a new life. He did cure many of the sense of despair and helplessness men inevitably feel when they are separated from God. As one of the healed ones said, "You have the words of eternal life." And millions in subsequent ages have stood up to make the same affirmation that in and through him they have found a fullness of life, an abundant life, because of what he brought. Personally, I feel that the most grievous ailments of our time are spiritual, not physiological. Oh, we have our diseases that are great killers, but hatred is a greater one. The hatred and blindness that erupt in and support war will kill more men in the prime of life, will cripple and kill more women and children, will cause more authentic deformities today and in succeeding generations than any other ailment known to man. You see, even the most skilled surgeon can do no more in times of war than simply patch up what remains of men after they've been blown apart. See, certainly we have a desperate need for the one who can cure the most desperate illnesses of our time. The one in whom we discover the fact of love, the power of a love, the need for love, if our lives are to be whole, if our relationships are to be creative and helpful, if our world is ever to emerge from the jungle of prejudice, war, malice, and hate, to walk on the higher plateaus of goodwill and brotherhood. But for us to discover this healer, we must be conscious of our illness. We must come to him in search of healing. You see, men can be made whole again. They can be healed if they come seeking health and the healer. Certainly it is with good cause that we hail Jesus Christ as the great physician. Certainly it is with good cause that we seek to identify ourselves with every movement in the human enterprise that seeks to cure man from the illnesses from which he suffers, whether physiological, mental, or spiritual. For we are an ill people, and we need the ministry of divine love if ever we are to find our way toward wholeness, the kind of wholeness God intended in creation. In a very real sense, then, speaking quite literally, we say of Jesus Christ, he is the healer of men. In and through him we find the meaning of true health and true wholeness.